listening from every corner of this planet. No knowledge has been dispersed so beautifully, so balanced across the planet, on this planet ever, maybe in the universe. You have the full potential of achieving everything in the universe. There is no need and there is no reason for man not to achieve. So, wherever you are, the way I taught you to make the coils double coil inside, you have continuous equal gravitational magnetic field, and if you put CO2 on it, and you put zinc on it, you have connected the emotion of the man to it on a stable condition, and you'll find out you become a very peaceful man. Here, instead of having galaxies and universes and creating connection magnetically, we have used the matter state gravitational magnetic field strength to dominate and dictate the shape of the plasma. The nanotechnology, the nanomaterial which you have collectively developed in different ways, by caustic, by electric currents, by whatever, fire or whatever, has that advantage that the matter, the nano, and the plasma is all the same. So connection is very solid, is very strong. The power of the plasma technology, the way we have thought, is beyond imagination of the man. Now we can create and control the plasma, which is the mother of the creation of the universe. We are given the seed of the essence of the creation. The foundation does not belong to no one and is not made of one anymore. You are developing it, you are structuring it, and from today we will be still the same. We'll still develop the technology in different names, in different colors, in different nationalities which they do not exist. It is beautiful when we see the Christian, the Muslims, the Jews, and every other belief are working together to build up systems. We have already become one faith. We already have become one nation, and we already become one planet. You got to remember one thing. Dates is irrelevant. Today is the last day of the Christian calendar, or tomorrow is the beginning of another. One day is connected to another. We don't stop. We are working round the clock. The Keshe Foundation team is working irrespective of time, position, religion, country. And now we achieve what we set out for.
Welcome everyone to the 15th International Knowledge Seekers Workshop presented by the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And my name is Rick Cramond as your host. And once again, we will be welcomed by Mr. Keshe, and he'll present today's latest teachings from the international sector. I know we have some presentation from the Chinese on their health unit and health, it looks like a building that they operate from and so on. So without further ado, let's launch into the workshop here. Mr. Keshe, I think you're there.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon to you, wherever, as usual, whenever you listen to this international teaching. As part of the program which we have on Tuesdays, we try to bring as many nationalities as possible. They usually don't come on to the last minute, they fall in and they come up with their ways or things or the structures which they're working with. We have, hopefully, a couple of videos or pictures from the China, which has been sent to us. Could you show it, what it is, and if they're online, they want to participate? Rick?
Yes, sure, Mr. Keshe.
Rick, do you have a picture from Arizona by any chance?
Arizona. Not clear on that.
Okay. Have you received email from Armin? You were supposed to send.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, I remember now. I'll have to find that one. Yep.
Okay. Can you show me?
Chinese. Okay, let me just get this set up in the live stream. And I'll get the screen share going here.
This is from, we see a lot of pictures. Oh, this is the new lab in China.
Yes, I believe so. I didn't get a lot of information with this. Let me see if there was.
I haven't seen this, so I don't know what you're showing. Other people who send these pictures from Chinese labs available online.
I got them from Steven Zhang. So is he available to talk about these pictures, or whoever is responsible for them? Are they online now? I'm wondering.
Go through them, please. Let's see what they are, because I haven't
Okay.
seen.
Yeah, this is the first one. Let's go just down the list here. Whoops, I missed one. There we go.
That's their coil system, health coil system.
Right, we see a volunteer trying it out. It's becoming a familiar sight. There's these piles of coils that people are producing.
Yeah. Do you see him online or?
Huh.
It's a very simple principle. It's a coat hanger, but they put the panels on it and it does the job. By the way, while we're looking at this, the doctors who join us tomorrow on what I call the just 1 second, we're running out for the changes speaker system. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, even better.
Yeah, they just changed the system because there was something wrong with the other one. So
Good.
the doctors who join us tomorrow in the doctor's teaching, in the medical teaching, it'll be very interesting if any of you have any system to show or what you use and the way you you see the helmet here. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. Carry on.
See coil winding here. Whoops. Sensitive. Oh, reactor of some sort.
Seen this? Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Go back, please. We've seen this machine with the blue top. We have a copy of it here in the lab here. We've seen the coils. These guys are all tan in this lab. All the pieces. We've seen that's the medical unit they use. Okay.
What's the reactor with the twin reactors, one over the other one?
I don't know. They gotta tell us.
It's like 4 of them in a row there.
I know the one with the ball in the center with the capsules on it. This is a medical unit.
Right, it's got the vials of GANs and so on beside it, right?
Almond
Water.
made gases. So we have this one here. I don't know what they do with the double one.
Okay.
Send it. This is a star formation with the batteries in the background. Any more? Yeah, simple, everyone.
Special.
Those reactors are up there again. I hope they could tell us why they sent this.
They have some tiny wee ones on the right, on the upper right. 2 tiny wee ones, it seems, and then the larger ones on the left, the duals.
Yep. Can you see them?
And again, we see another unit there. It seems to have double controls to control the speed. So there's 2 motors.
We see what we see. The Keshe Foundation laboratories or research points in China. We've given them the permission to sell these units, even the Chinese eBay, to be able to finance their research. They don't sell it for public. It's not sold as a commercial unit manufacturing. About 5 or 6 of them in China, I think maybe more. We started with what they call Sangyan, and we given them the permission to sell products of the research equivalent that they could finance researchers. That was started. I think that's why we see so many coils on these things. They sell these to the people who go there for training or whatever, and this allows them to finance their activities for research. This permission to the Chinese research labs, or what you call the Keshe Foundation, Sanjan, and the others too, from person we work with. So you can go on Chinese. They are not allowed to export out of China, but you can go on the Chinese website, like the eBay of China, and buy some of the components from the lab.
And here we have an interesting device I haven't seen before, with the tube attached to what seems to be GAN's water, and to is it a pyramid hat?
Right. But the gas flowing through it, most probably.
Right, maybe there's a pump involved there.
That's what they're doing. Let's see. The next one. We have a very good within the academic layer of the Chinese universities, and the teachers in different universities teach, or the students, some of them to catch up, some of them join in the other works and activities. Keshe Foundation in China is huge.
Seems to be testing a paint pan.
There is a plane hanging off the ceiling there.
Yes.
Okay, what's anymore?
Yeah,
We
there's
don't
a.
tell them that they can tell us.
They seem to be having fun at it, that's for sure.
We will be with you in a very short time. In a very, very short time, the Keshe Foundation, even Thursday teachings, will follow in from China. We don't announce any movement, but Keshe Foundation, all the teachings of Keshe Foundation on Tuesday, Thursdays, will move into Beijing or into where we get located. And Keshe Foundation supporters, you can come to our teachings. It will be announced by the Chinese organization who handles our trade. Then very soon, very short time, you will not see Simba letter for a few times. The teachings will come from China and are asked and requested that Tuesday and Thursday will be kept because there is about something like 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it doesn't interfere with the day work for us. Thursdays we start 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So if you're a Chinese and a Chinese community, it will be announced on the channels there. You can actually come and join the sessions, the lectures and teachings on Thursdays from China. So this Tuesday afternoon and Thursday mornings will work. But now we're done in Beijing. We've seen the same kind of seating and the structure places in Africa and different parts of the world. Carry on. Let me explain to while we are on this with the Chinese people. When we arrive, please make sure all your systems, all the materials which you have used, all the applications, all the research you've done and you have a data for. We are looking for a huge amount of different type of cancers which you have moved or you have produced, which you have produced that on our arrival we can really bring the Keshe Foundations and the governmental organizations together because we can show immediate tests can be done, be added, joining into the structure. So if you listen to our, what do you call it, teachings, arrival, for security reasons, we do not announce where we go and what we do, but these connections with us will announce in Chinese system in the Keshe Foundations and all the, what do you call it, things, that most probably 2 or 3 districts bring everything you have made that we are there as a link to bring you in contact to become teachers for the governmental organization we work with because to teach them, it takes time. You as Chinese can help your government and nation very rapidly. We take you up very rapidly for you to teach and we'll see how we can bring the whole process rapidly in different parts as the people who organize it for us will decide where we go. But like these panels in a lot of gases, made power units, in all these videos, when you hear announcement, you're organizing. Whatever you have, we have time. We're coming to China for up to 6 months. You're not coming to China for a visit of 1 or 2 days. So we give a depth coverage into teaching, training, and bringing the Keshe Foundation supporters work in amalgamation. So please, if you listen and you are connected on your Keshe Foundation channel, we are coming on an official visit, and the official visit means the governments will allow and make arrangements. We are coming on an official visit, very short time, to Bulgaria. This is the request we have received at the highest level, and area for about a week or 10 days. This is done at the level of the people of Bulgaria who have invited us. We respond to you, we arrive, we'll come. Most probably we'll come from China to Bulgaria and go back again to China to carry on that work. These are the positions we are. In the coming time, we will be in Tokyo, Japan, for maybe up to 10 days. Again, this is what the Japanese Keshe Foundation and supporters in that condition, where if they want and how they can use presence in respect to the activities they have and how we can technology into public arena. Carry on.
Mr. Keshe, there's a picture here. Let me see if I can get it set up from the same person, Stephen Zhang. And let me just get it here. There we go.
Yep.
And he asks, we tried to use, or he states, we tried to use zinc wire to make the coil. And he asks for Mr. Keshe's guidance. Is it better than copper? We can see another.
When you use zinc oxide, these are for emotional diseases. They're fantastic. And the systems like this, especially if you use on your batteries zinc papers, or what you call it, foils, or zinc wires. If you make systems totally out of zinc, to be your capacitors, to be your battery capacitors, to be your coils, these systems are exclusive for mental disorders, Alzheimer's, Parkinson. These are the best solutions when you use them. The other ones which you showed in the background, where there is a copper coils, these are okay for body, where you set the body, which especially make helmet. These zinc coils are one of the best, but be careful in how you do it. And secondly, you cannot use like copper CO2 gas liquid on these. You got to realize in the brain, if you keep everything homogeneous, is perfect for psychological and what do you call emotional. These zinc coils are perfect. Something I forgot to tell you. Our visit to Bulgaria is unofficial on the governmental level. If you need to attend any of the conferences or seminars or whatever which is setting up, please contact the Keshe Foundation head office at the webmaster level. Keshe Foundation Bulgaria will be not involved in this matter, but it's nothing to do with the foundation. The official governmental level visit by the Keshe Foundation. The structure of these coils, with the zinc coils, be careful that you create a zinc oxide and you use zinc and a CO2 water gas, or what they call liquid plasma. You will see fantastic results with these. I would love if you can make them like this, to receive some here in the office as a helmet, the small ones on a helmet, because we need for a specific job. If our Chinese friends can hear, and the helmet one you've seen you made, and you can make a zinc coil like this for the helmet, very small size, CO, CO2, sorry, not CO, CO2 and what they call zinc oxide, liquid plasma. You please mix it, and we could do the helmet here. We have a special test that this can be effectively used immediately. As I said, you better get it to us before we come to China because we need it in Europe and not in China. Thank you very much. Can we have the next picture, please?
That's it on those ones, Mr. Keshe.
Okay. We have, as we told you before, Keshe Foundation manufacturing in Arizona has kicked into operation. Do you have the pictures from it?
Give me a couple of minutes. I have to recover those here.
It's with a picture of the front and the labs and the factory. This is a upcoming setting. We expect the Pennsylvania to come into operation in a short time. There are 2 or 3 more in the state. The reason I show you this, we go back in on Thursday about it, is some of the people who sit in Red Circle in Belgium and the Germans who have started putting the address of the factory and encouraging people to attack and go there and make protests and go and say it's a fraud. We are a registered company and operating with a license, with all the necessary things, all with the legal standards and everything else. Please make more of these things that you bring to attention of a lot of people that the factory is opened up. We can't advertise it, but you're advertising it very well for us. So we thank you for putting it on the internet that the factory is opened up and asking people to go. You welcome. When you go to the factory, the staff of the factory will show you how to make things, and you can, when you go into protest, take a unit, at least you make a saving at home with what you're protesting for. And please, to those trolls who've been trying to push that people call the telephone number, please call. The ones who call, we quite welcome you. And the ones who come in to protest, you're encouraging it on the internet, please call the televisions because it's a free advertising that no organization can miss. And as I've said to the Keshe Foundation manufacturers, when people come to protest, give them 1 unit, says you go home and test it and come back, and we show you how to make it too, that you know what you're protesting for. We do not object to these things. When I said to our guys, when they said they put this on this to go and protest, please do more of it, because our people who try to bring problem, they serve us very well, because you bring us to attention of the government. On the other hand, this is the Keshe Foundation manufacturing in Arizona. It's the first picture, yes?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the outside picture. I know Armin sent it to me, but I'm not sure which way he sent it to me. It's not with the other ones, and it's I'm not sure.
This is at the entrance of the factory. One planet, one race, one nation. Building peace through technology. And we are in that safe people. They have received to go for a rapid production. Keshe Foundation Italy manufacturing has delivered the what do you call it, the raw material. They do everything else there for assembly and making the coils. The boxes look the same. The pen pad from them is the same, and they go through their own licensing, US government. What do you call it? This is the factory that was setting up. This is an old picture. They all they've gone into assembly and production, if I'm correct. Is anybody? John? Back of John Bev. I don't know if he's online. He can tell us it. My mic.
Yeah, it seems to have an issue there.
Not really. It's full blast. I think Fabio is playing with things in the background.
Okay.
No, he's not playing. This is the setup of the factory where they start small. This is how we started. This is the first nano coating and coil making machine, which is made by John DuPont, Jeff DuPont in Canada. As I said, if you go a little bit slower, please. As we said, Keshe Foundation is become a family structure. So what is built by the Keshe Foundation for making coils, the coil machine is automatic coil machine, plus the nano coating. Internally, we support, you don't need to wait. The factories, we are becoming a vertical structure. Slowly, in the next maybe 2 months, 3 months, we will announce that like this, you have something on the screen, you have to move it. This just arrived that day from Canada. It's a coil making machine and a nano coating machine. Hopefully we see more of it. And so we become a vertical structure. That's the machine setup. Very simple, made in Canada. We are all computerized. We have bought 3 of these for the Keshe Foundation for Italy. It should be here. We paid for it. It should be here on nano coating within the next few weeks. And so if you're setting up a system, you get more or less full support in the background to start. There's a lot of teething problems, we know, but with the new technology and the new knowledge, everything needs to be done, and everything is done from scratch. Carry on, please. All the factories, which that's again, John, maybe I can see his back. The Armand was there when it was set up. Everything is starting in a smaller scale, building up to that must be the Armand taking the pictures. This is Colonel Hankey of United States Army. You met him at the Keshe Foundation opening in Cannes. When we opened the room, he was the first speaker. Colonel Hankey has taken the direction of taking the technology because he's tested at home himself. He's a high-ranking officer in the military in America. He is taking it directly into the highest level within the U.S. government. He's responsible, he's part of his member of the board of executive directors of the Keshe Foundation USA. And because he has tested things himself, he's taking the technology directly into the American Pentagon and the White House and the rest of it. He's a highly respected officer, and he wanted to be there when the factory opens up. It's not far from him. And that's Armand on the right-hand side. They both flew to the factory to set up. Now this increases by numbers. Now they receive their wood. Hopefully it should be there. So they don't need to wait to find a cast to add to something. Keshe Foundation Italy, we send you the raw materials, all the boxes, everything else that you can start going into production. You can start being part of the production line very rapidly, that you can get your certification. This is beautiful to see. Have you found the outside picture? Rick?
No, I haven't yet, Mr. Keshe. I have to find out how
If
Armin
Armin
sent
is awake, he should be able to give it to you. Armin, are you online?
Let me see.
Or is
I remember coming across that, but I can't remember whether it was in one of the multiple different ways. It could have been in, maybe it was in Facebook or something. Let me check in a couple of other places first.
I have it on the other side. While you're showing this one, it's important. We told you we repeat these on Thursday because it's done. Members of the Keshe Foundation Italy, for Italian public. From next week, we have come to final agreement arrangement. From next week, you can send the request to Keshe Foundation to receive a power unit. Keshe Foundation Italy will carry a specific form which will go on Keshe Foundation Italy only, italy@keshefoundation.org. This application form you can fill in, you send it back to the foundation online, and on approval of your credibility, which is nothing to do with the Keshe Foundation, that you have to pass the credit, whatever facilities which is available within the legal structure of Italy, with 10 euro for the first payment, you will receive within 30 days, once the bank approves and releases the authorization, Maghreb power unit. There is a payment of over 4 or 5 years, 10 euro per month, and you will be able to benefit by the reduction of about 50 to 60% within the first month. So you save maybe 100 euro on your bill, you pay 10 euro for the unit. I see Giovanni holding his head. So from next week, if you're Italian, this is the arrangement which has been made with the banks, major bank in Italy, and they have done all their checking and whatever. You will be able to buy a Maghreb unit for a delivery with 10 euro. But the only condition is that your credit reference has to be accepted by the bank. So once you fill in the form with the 10 euro goes to the bank confirms that they accept you as a client to receive one, they authorize us and we release it. Estimated numbers by the bank we have facilitated to do is 9 million pieces for Italy. So Italian factory goes into full production in next 4 to 6 weeks to meet the demand. So if you're Italian, this applies only for Italian in Italy. You have to have address and a bank account in Italy that can be paid out 10 euro per month to the line of credit which the bank gives you. This is one of the top banks, especially top 3 banks in Italy who's approved the procedure, and the systems are available. We will tell you when we release it. So if you've been waiting for a Maghreb unit, I think is about 50 or 60 month installment, if I remember correctly. You pay for 5 years, 10 euro per month to cover the cost of the unit, and you receive your unit as soon as the bank approves the, the application. It's not us, it's you with your credit reference. This is what you've been asking for. So Keshe Foundation Italy, 10 euro per unit should be, we hope, by end of next week or sometime early next week, be up and running, hopefully. And we try to see if we can make the same arrangement with other banks and organizations in EU. Because once it's set with one, the others will follow. This gives a boost to all the Keshe Foundation manufacturers around Europe who are trying to come into production. The bank references is needed by what the bank gives us. You fill in a bank application form. We have made the facilities that the finance is already approved if you are credible. And then the stays at that. Any other thing? Have you found the picture yet, Rick?
No, I've been searching all the regular places and sent a note off to Armin. I'm not finding it yet. Just give me a couple of minutes here. I'm still looking now. Got a few more places.
Anything else to show?
Nothing offhand here. Is there somebody in the panelists or viewers that has something they want to show at this point.
Do we have anybody from international community who want to show anything? This is your time. Thursdays, you don't get this chance.
I
No.
wondered if Jackie wanted to show something, perhaps with his Gans water. Had an interesting three-layered Gans water.
Yes, please. We've seen that in the teaching of this morning.
Can you do something with that, Jackie?
Yes, sure. Hello. Let me 1 second.
Okay, while Jackie getting ready, I got to explain to you Thursday teaching. We have allocated, if they can sort out their internet, there's no problem with the internet. 2 hours of teaching goes to Ghana Keshe Foundation in the. Hello, somebody close your microphone, please. It goes for 2 hours to the Ghanaian Atomic Energy organization, governmental organization, which we are embedded into it. And they will show the results of their data from different rivers and what they have produced and how we are going into production in Ghana within the next maximum 6 weeks, which means the production of Maghreb system, production of soap and disinfecting the water and cleaning up the water will become a joint venture between the Ghanaian government and the Keshe Foundation. We hold majority shareholders, and the Ghanaian government, through the Ghana Atomic Energy Agency, owns the other 40% of the shares. So this is the first joint venture between government and Keshe Foundation. You got to realize the Benjamin has been within the structure of the Ghanaian Atomic Energy Authority for nearly 6 months, 8 months. They have tested everything. They have validated all the technologies, being on the contamination or being on the reduction in the energy consumption and the other application. And from next few weeks, it's a literally Keshe Foundation Ghana joint venture, which the Ghana government will be a partner, and the Keshe Foundation will be 60% shareholder, which all of our returns from production of whatever sold in Ghana and in Africa will go back into the Ghanaian society. We are employing a large number of Ghanaian scientists. We are inviting some of the scientists from abroad to go back to become part of the structure. So this is the first governmental joint venture with the Keshe Foundation. We thank the Ghanaian Atomic Energy Agency for taking their time, testing our equipment, testing the technology, and at this moment, on Thursday, you will see the collaboration that the professors and doctors, scientists from Atomic Energy Authority will present their own papers. This is the first time where we go on a joint venture with a government. We are on the verge of 3 or 4 joint venture with governments in coming weeks. We announce them as they are completed. So we passed the point of being researchers, developers. Now, what we've done collectively as a Keshe Foundation worldwide has come and sits on the table of the government. We expect 3 more governments in Africa to join us within the coming year, and we expect 2 Asian governments to join. We have started negotiation with a couple of other countries, which they have approached us, and we announce them as the course completes. But Ghana Keshe Foundation Manufacturing, with a governmental organization, literally government owning shares, and Keshe Foundation owning the other part of the shares, goes into production and to facilities in the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks maximum. So if you are from any country from Africa, get in touch with us. Africa is a priority on the Keshe Foundation list, and we have some of the most trusted people accepting the responsibility of taking the technology into Africa. Benjamin as a scientist, highly educated. We have Alex, which has broken all the barriers and borders of the knowledge in Nigeria, and we have Dr. Bota, which is now embedded in Kenya. And we'll see more of these to come. Anything else? Have you found the picture? No.
No, no luck on the picture. I'm still looking in different locations.
Sleep, you can't wake him up.
No.
Is John available online? Is John Bevan in? No. Okay, Jackie, you show us what you have there, and then we'll go to the next step.
Okay, thank you. So I just this is if you make GANs water, for example, seawater. This is the GANs of seawater. A normal GANs, you have the GANs and you have the water. And what I'm making and trying to do is to find the gap and to have 3 layers and not 2 layers. And I mix here you can have this with mixing the seawater with the NaOH. And then I found something to create a gap between the layers and have 3 different layers. And here you have, it's not so evident in the seawater, but it's exactly the same. At the bottom you have the seawater like the same, then you have another substance, and then you have the liquid. And I want to show you with another setup, it's more evident. This is from avocado. And here you have, you know, at the beginning when I do only with NaOH, this part, it's at the bottom, and then you have the liquid. But the process, you get different results. The more matter state, more solid is going at the top. Then you have a gap, and then you have another part. And you can make whatever you want. After a few minutes, it's come exactly in the same shape. And you have a total separation between the elements. And it's really nice, and it's really cool to see the 3 different layers and the 3 different parts. And then you can, because if I just show you one picture, let me 1 second. I just need to find the picture. One second.
While you're looking for the picture,
it's if you have on the acidity and the basics, you have the NaOH. It's at the end of one. And if you look at the other side, you have exactly at the same position, but at the opposite scale. You have the acid chlorhydric, and when you mix the 2 elements, you have the total separation, and then you can play with the both sides, and you can start interacting with the fields and trying to do what you want. This is the idea, and then you can play with the different combination and start playing with different reaction and different strengths.
Jackie, something which you brought to us last week, which was funny in a way of the way you put it, that in the winter you put your swimming pools out and you heat it up to 30 degrees.
and you explained that there is no bacteria, there is no algae, nothing in the water. Did
Yep.
you add the water? Can you explain this, and then I'll explain to you some more information.
So you wonder how I make the setup of the water?
No, what did you add? You put a CO2 pH 3 GANS water.
Yeah. So I have my swimming pool and I have two containers. One is a copper wire nano-coated with a CO2 GANs, and one is a copper wire with the CO. And it was the beginning. In January, I start making my swimming pool like that. And when we totally opened the swimming pool, I put liquid plasma, approximately 2 liters and 3 liters of distilled water, so 5 liters. And I put the liquid plasma directly into the swimming pool. And now it's 30 degrees, the swimming pool. And the swimming pool is totally clean. Then I can adjust if I want to clean a little bit more. I add a little bit more liquid plasma CO. And if I want the people have better emotion, I can put a little bit more of CO2 liquid plasma into it.
You become a swimming pool magician in a way.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because it's important. As you know, when you have swimming pools, you have to check the chlor and
Yeah. The
where
pH.
pH and chlor stands.
The chlor is no chlor.
Yes,
And
but if you take a measurement on the chlor scale,
yeah, I can play with the chlor. I don't know because it's the husband of my sister's doing. But after with the pH, I can speak with the pH. I can get higher or lower regarding what liquid plasma I put into it.
okay, I tell you the test we done. We can show you the pictures. I've taken the pictures. Maybe on Thursday we show it. In a swimming pool, we have put one plate of 10 by 15 centimeter nano-coated copper plate in a plastic bag. And this has been hanging in the pool for past 7-8 months. As you do, when we started, we kept the bleach in the, what we call it, the chlor blocks in the water over the winter, and nothing else has been added, just 2 or 3 blocks the whole of winter, while we've been away in Dubai as well and the rest of it. When we opened the pool to start, we saw something very strange. The chlor is at the highest. It's very high. And pH is over 8.2. We haven't added anything to the pool. The chlor in the testers you have to fill in and shake it and leave it. It goes absolutely yellow, the maximum. And it's over even darker than the maximum. And the pH is the same. I said this is impossible. So even the chlors which were put in the pool were taken out. We took a measurement again 2 or 3 days later, and is worse and the same. So I start thinking and looking at it, how could be this possible? I'll show you the pictures of it. We've taken a full video of it, that we could have such a high chlor and such a high pH with just one copper plate in a plastic bag hanging in the pool, where I explained to you before, we had no algae whatsoever. There is no algae. There is not a single piece of green piece in this, where before last year, we could see the growth of algae on the wall of the pool. Then it comes to one very interesting conclusion. Maybe I'm wrong, but from what we see, can we share the white screen, please? Tomorrow's doctor's teaching. You're not here. I don't know what's going to happen. I'll come with my colleagues. It's easier. So what we've seen, and it's very interesting, is that the plate is hanging somewhere here. But the pH in this side of the pool is over 8.2, and the chlor is right at the maximum and above. You got to understand, it has not been touched for 6 months. You can't swim in it, it's cold. There's a lot of leaves in there, there's a lot of, what do you call it, green bits which come from the trees around the pool, dust which is flown in. We are by the seaside, so you get dust and everything else on it. Nothing at all. But the interesting is this over 8.2 pH, where before we had to add materials into it to bring it to around 7, which is the normal, where ideal is. Go back to the teaching which we had from our innovation team in Philippines, where they showed us the connection between the pH and what you call the cancer and the growth and everything else, if you remember a few months ago. And then with the chlor, it started me thinking, how is this possible? How can this change what has been up to now totally upside down the other way around? And it's very easy. You have, or in our case, the swimming pool is made of steel sheets. It's a metal sheets coated with plastic on the top. So what we have is literally, what do you like to call it? A sealed, nano-coated, rusted steel pool. This pool, the plastic, because it's got a plastic coating, over years has been rusted or whatever. There's been chlor in it. They have had salt in it to keep it whatever. So what has happened is this plate with the copper and the metal has created a fantastic GaNs material. The whole pool is in the GaNs state. And we know, we've seen the drop of GaNs in Tokyo and in Africa, how they killed everything. Even the texture of the debris at the bottom looks and it feels different. So what is interesting is, if we allow and develop this in a further condition, the chlor is not needed. So the chlor has locked up into the GaNs material, which is inside the GaNs environment, and as the property of the what you call the GaNs liquid in the pool, the whole pool disinfects itself. This has a huge application, which means If you put a GANS in your, or a couple of copper plates, nano coated, you do not need to use any kind of chemicals to keep your pool clean. pH high, chlor level high, maybe you put 1 block of chlor the whole summer, where before we use about 3 kilos a month. Evaporates continuously, you have to add to it. Nothing is touched for 6 months. So we have found a solution into disinfectant in a large scale. Does this mean in Africa and other nations we can add this liquid plasma at different points of the river? That the whole river can have life, fresh, and can do the same. Coffee, thank you very much. Am I getting it right? So now you see how simply, if you understand it, is there. I'll try to bring the pictures tomorrow or Thursday that you can see the level of the pH and level of chlor to be so high. So in so many ways, if you are and you understand this, a lot of good things with this. Report from Ghana, Keshe Foundation in the past, and you will see more of it this week from different rivers, allows us to take this chance, allows us to be able to bring the new technology to be rapidly implemented in a large scale. If we put the water cans in the bottles and give a bottle or copper plate, we call it swimming pool disinfectant plates. You don't need to add chemicals to be able to create all sorts of problems which has been inherent. We don't see the, what do you call it, the worms, we don't see anything else with it at the moment. So it'll be very interesting. Now we've seen it with Rick, Jackie, and we've seen it ourselves in a large pool, how the application of the small plate, but in our condition, we have a metal casing swimming pool. The other ones who have a plastic one you put on the side, children do not need to be exposed to chemicals anymore. It's the time where they are vulnerable. They swallow a lot of these waters with chemicals in it. What I've done, I've added a mixture of GANS liquid, about 3 liters of it up to now, into the pool in past 2 or 3 days. But I have made a pool with a specific purpose. And amazing enough, it has changed the environment of the house within the first 24 hours. It's not going in it because it's not the time to go in it, but I could feel it's just changed. Everything has changed. I think Caroline, listening to it downstairs, understand exactly what it means. Before I add the liquid into it, we use thousands of mosquitoes on the surface, literally black all the time. More or less, they're not there anymore, hardly any. Since I added the GANS into it, I'll wait and monitor, and it'll be good if you have, or you're part of, or you go and you have facility to stack what they call static water, which goes nowhere, and you can test these things. It allows to bring a new way how, as I said, the technology will change the environment, and we see it. What happens is the balance of gravitational magnetic field of the water changes, which does not become attracting to the other things. You change the environment. We used to get birds flying over it. They're not there because the animals are not there for them to pick on. You see the change in the environment of the whole house changing. And the effect is literally within hours. Maybe instead of fluoride, we can add zinc oxide, gas water into the tap system for changing the behavior of people as they drink it. Maybe we can add water of CO2. We will do this. We have channels of testing this in a very short time. We can test this in local authorities where we can put copper oxide water into the system without adding any chemicals for disinfecting. If we have the data, we are waiting for the Ghanaian Atomic Energy Authority data because it's a certified organization to release it to us. We can do this very easily, where in water plants, where at the moment a lot of chemicals are used, there will be no chemicals. We know at the moment we do not need to spend thousands, hundreds of thousands of euros for filtering. So a small application, if you're in different countries, sits on the table. We will post the certification of Ghanaian atomic energy with the measurements of the bacteria and sediments after Thursday, once the scientists submit their papers. Don't forget, we are becoming an organization where scientists are asking to come, to present, to deliver. People are coming to show. We've seen doctors, scientists of different calibers. It's the same. In the next few weeks, you will see scientists from Bulgarian organizations present their papers, which they've done with the Keshe Foundation development, on the table. We will see from China, we will see from different parts of the world delivering papers, because we've been there long enough to create for them to see, to have the trust that the technology works, is how to implement it in different applications. You got to understand, today is an international teaching. We should be able to deliver simple technologies at no cost to government. We are looking the replacement of a specific combination. I'm very careful in choosing words. We are looking at a specific combination of GANs of material in a GANs state of water to replace the immunization system of today. Which means, the way we look at it, you give a spoon of water to a child with the GANs of measles, weak enough that kicks in the immunization structure of the body of the man without any side effect. This means that we will replace the 3 injections which has created mayhem with the children with autism and all kinds of problems. If you are a scientist, please contact us and join us in testing and confirmation. We are doing it with governmental organizations. If I'm right, and this is what I'm proposed and what I have put on the table, and that's what we are developing, you can give a small dosages of the gas water of certain products to a child, natural as water, that it triggers the immune system that allows the child to create all sorts of immunity. Immune from cancer, immune from malaria. We don't need to wait for the malaria or take all these kind of tablets. You take a spoon of water, which is designed with a natural problem of itself to immune yourself from the disease. Vaccination within the next 3 months, if we are correct, which we think 80% are correct, will change. It's a huge burden on governments, the cost of vaccination. If we are correct and we can promote it in the next 2 or 3 years, we have achieved a lot. So we will release this result. As an international teaching today, we request if you're scientists, join us. We need scientists from all countries around the world, not one or two. Hopefully, in a coming time soon, we announce a lot of these things which is happening with different governments with us, that we gather Keshe Foundation structure in changing the structure of the health altogether. What it says, we have to wait. We have to give these and see how the level has increased in the blood. Governments have to control. The institutes have to control and see. And in a coming time, you can literally buy drinks as a drinking water for different kind of diseases, for different kind of problems which the body of man might have. We are working closely with different organizations, and as you know, we don't mention anymore because we learn our lessons with a bunch of hooligans on the internet. Once the job is done, then we announce. You can have, once we complete, these will be submitted in the international seminars. The Keshe Foundation supporters and scientists and universities will deliver these in international seminars in how it's been used and how it's done. If we are correct, then we can complete it within the next few months. The immunization of the what do you call it, 3 M's, will come to an end. We've seen the results. We are waiting for Alex to confirm from Nigeria in respect to malaria. If we are correct with malaria, that can be done immediately. It will save millions of lives. So we have entered in a very huge way. We took our time. We took all the, what we call the wrong words and the wrong things, but now the correctness of the technology coming through governments will silence the enemies of the foundation because they have to swallow their own, what we call, excrement. That's all they deserve to do. If, and in the coming weeks, we deliver the totality of immunization, it will be on the site of the Keshe Foundation, japan.keshefoundation.org. It will be going down as a blueprint, which every person around the world with the certification and confirmation from institutes and governments that is used and is applied and it works directly in public. We deliver our knowledge freely, and this is part of it. We see the change in delivery of the liquid plasma in interaction with all kinds of skin infections. Again, as I said, we are keeping a number of developments in the background as a gift to the Chinese government when we arrive. No new technologies will be released by Keshe Foundation till we arrive in China. These are the things which are getting developed, and it's a gift from Keshe Foundation for freedom of the government in peace activities. The whole structure is set to change in understanding a very simple thing, how gravity is created, how magnetical fields can interact, and how the interaction of the two can bring the condition which you desire. Now we are learning more and more how to achieve conditions. We now learn how the interactions will lead to the position of the desired condition, that we do not need to do much more. It's very much on the ethos of the Keshe Foundation. We don't fight. We create an environment to bring the change. In the pool, we don't ask, we don't add. We add a new dimension which changes the environment. That's all it's done. In the atmosphere, we go the same way. We do not change. We do not go and find and blame CO2 for global warming. We go to find out what can we add in a natural way to the environment that the CO2 finds in a different way to become contributed to the betterment of the environment than being a menace and destruction. Again, as I said, the system for cleaning up CO2 and the pollution on the city of Beijing and Shanghai will be a gift from Keshe Foundation to the Chinese government on our arrival. We are developing the technology in a very different ways, and it is how it will be. There is no city more contaminated, polluted than Beijing and Shanghai in so many ways, where you cannot see the buildings anymore. Now, we don't go to clean up. We go to change the environmental condition within the city. This is what, in this international teaching, we try to bring to your attention, that you can be part of it. You have to develop as other part in what we do. The same position applies to the condition where we see all sorts of contamination due to different kind of activities. We've seen the application in Fukushima. We've seen the plant which nobody could walk in since 2011 accident. Now they're driving and going everywhere. What happened? Thank you very much, Keshe Foundation. I have a news for you. In a coming time, we release the name of the directors of the American company which took the technology from Keshe Foundation and in the back door delivered it as their numbers and names. We will deliver their names, the home numbers and addresses and everything else which goes with it. This is of the records of TEPCO directly. The people inside the TEPCO are not happy with what TEPCO has done with Keshe Foundation. They are releasing huge amounts of information to us to be able to show how the technology which was given as a gift has changed in the other way. We will release all the details. We release their business cards. We release their report. So we have, it's in our possession, all the data. We don't fight anymore. At the moment, we have structured it that we go into these areas as a problem solving organization that the people will ask. As I said, once we release our data, the seat of Japanese Prime Minister is unattainable. He will not be able to stand as the Prime Minister in the office of the Japanese government. The data and the information we have is so fundamental that it shows why, having such a knowledge in their hand, they do not help the Japanese nation to contaminate the lands and the farms. It costs nothing. And as they said, as is the old say of President Nixon, the buck stops at this place. The buck stops at the office of the Prime Minister of Japan for what has been the technology freely to the nation and has been used for decontamination, but has not been passed on to public that they don't die of cancer from the explosion of the reactor. The structure and the knowledge is deep, and the beauty of it is in your hand. Members of the Keshe Foundation worldwide, people who develop these things. We will release more and more technology on the back of the governmental researchers, scientific organizing researchers, and Keshe Foundation members. You have become the leaders of a new science, and it's you who are laying the law of the new interaction. We will release as much, as fast as we can, new technologies, new developments. You got to understand, Keshe Foundation now is in every front: health, energy, the space, agriculture, materials, decontamination. We touch every layer of the society through your work. You sharing, you bringing knowledge and delivering it. It's very interesting how you have to add to the knowledge. You've got to understand what knowledge brings us. Start to understand the interaction of the fields which creates the condition. If you look at the swimming pool with a copper plate and a zinc plate, it's no different than your CO2 kit. There is no difference. And you saw how in Japan the water from the CO2 kit was used in the dirty water. You've seen how the CO2 kit water and CO2 kit was used in Africa for different rivers. You saw the data and what happened at the end. It's you who got to extend it. Why have we got the stock with 2 plates? Today, for the first time, we see our Chinese colleagues come up with a zinc coil. What about a gold coil? What about a silver coil? Why don't we use a silver coil? It costs a lot of money. But can you imagine the fields it creates for every disease? You make it once, but you can allow its fields to be used within the structure of the body of a man, that any disease can be reduced. We saw with the doctor in South America, even a dog is getting benefited by it. You don't need to be multi-million structures as we've seen with the X-rays and whatever you call it, MRIs. Simple solutions, active solutions. What we encourage for Keshe Foundation worldwide supporters, start looking how far we can simplify this technology. From now on, is not making it more complicated. We have to make it simplified enough that every man can help himself with it. Try to think, change your ways of complicated coils to have in a very, very simple way that you can create. Do we need so many coils? Or can we create an environment of coil? These, the systems we see coming from all over the world in past 6-8 weeks since we disclosed this kind of system, is too cumbersome for a normal layman to do. If you understand the technology, develop it in a simpler way. Bring it out in a way that it can do the job. This is what we're going to deliver to China when we arrive. A lot of people, I receive emails, they say, why you deliver this way, or you say that and then you change it. Because if you don't understand it, I have to teach you the other way that to you it contradicts the first way, but in fact it's an alternative way to do it back to front. The process, the work is very, very simple. No one needs to go through anything which is difficult, which is not existing, and it's hard to generate. We understand simple principles. Ashes and water in the right combination gives you the what you look for, the NaOH. So a man in Africa, a man in the jungle knows how to make ashes. He knows how to boil it to create the custard. Now we got it. It's part of it. Now find another solution that in man in Africa or in jungles or even in Europe can use a coconut, can you use anything, a tin pot, to create a gas that in this gas he can create with an apple, with this, the gas of the water of the apple, that the water can be put in a cup and be given to the child that he receives this energy. This is how simple we are going. Don't make it any more complicated. We need complicated system for the Western eyes, which is connected to what I call the wrong end of the body, which is the televisions. We watch and what's on it, we accept, otherwise it doesn't exist. Those of you who are paying and becoming part of the training course for October, that's what you're going to learn, how to be able to use the fields of the space to create what you need. You have to understand the totality. We're not going to teach you how to make a GANs and nano coating. If you come to get a GANs and nano coating, you better start doing some homework. By the time you get here in October, you're already masters of this. We bring you here to teach you the interaction. How the fields interaction creates what condition, what environment. Try to simplify it so much that you go down to the field level, not to the matter level. Try to create systems. Try to create conditions that it gives you what you need without actually doing much, but you receive everything you need. If you live in a place where main diet is corn, and what you give to people all the time, corn, don't give them the corn. Give them water, which carries the taste of the beef, the energy of everything, that there is no malnutrition. All you need to deliver water. We will deliver these waters for food in the next, most probably, 3 to 5 weeks. Keshe Foundation is a majority shareholder in the structure, and we deliver it as not as a food supplement, but as a food system. I've got Giovanni thinking. Not very difficult, is it? So go back to the system, go back to the understanding of it, and simplify it. It's nice to see very complicated, complex system of coils, the hats and the rest, but go back to what I think, the way I work. If you change the energy system at this level, that you don't put anything wrong in the body, you don't need to make the helmets to change the body later on. If you kill the whole thing at the beginning, not to create the environment, you don't need to solve the problem which is created. If you don't put chemicals in the beef with antibiotics to get it fattened and the rest, where you can have water of the beef, you don't feel hungry. Why do we eat? We eat to transfer energy. Now we have learned the easy way of transferring energy. At the moment, it's liquid plasma. In the coming time, will be fields. And do we need to see people going hungry? In the coming time, we place systems in the environment of the cities that everybody receives energy in a what we call a field plasma, that they don't go hungry. No one should die in the coming time on this planet from hunger when such a simple technology is in the hand of every man. This is where we are targeting. This is where we have to go. This is where people like Jackie, who've been using the system, and the others are going without any food as such unless they just satisfy their eating, which has been a habit for a lifetime, without hunger. It's not that they are not hungry. It's not that they are not eating. Actually, most probably they're eating more than before. Because now they take everything they need. There is no shortage. We see in the face of Jackie, we don't see him dying. He's over 2 months now. So please start simplifying the technology. There are those of you who make complicated cores and coils and targeting to the direction of the flight system. And those of you who understand, try to simplify it. We go for survival of the man on this planet. And now we learn from it. In space technology, we can use it too. Try to go to understand. There is no simpler way than producing a gas of any liquid, any food, any mineral that you can add to the water that the man eats, he receives energy. Or drinks, he receives the full spectrum. At the moment, we see malnutrition. We see because of lack of vitamins. Because people can't afford fruit or whatever to complement it. We see retardment in the knowledge, in the learning process of the children of third world because they don't receive enough nourishment. We can do this now with the water. Now you make a cocktail. We've seen Jackie showing us coconut, somebody else showing us banana. Add these waters because, as we know, in the spectrum of the plasma, each one takes his own seat. So banana sits there, and coconut sits there, and the water sits there, and the sugar sits there. When a child drinks the water, he receives everything he needs. This is the condition we have to go. To eradicate hunger, there is no solution. There is literally no other solution than what is on the table from the Keshe Foundation. Because now we can give a water to a man, for the man not to go hungry, and because he can receive the energy through the water. In the coming weeks, you can buy a spectrum of energies from Keshe Foundation on site. When we do this, in 20 years' time, in 30 years' time, body has taken what it needs psychologically, emotionally, and physically. We will not see the fibromyalgias. If we go this way, we shall not see any MS. ILS become written as a history in the books of the medicine. Because in this process, not you only feed the body of the man, you have fed the emotion. Emotion works on a constant perfect, body works on a constant perfect. Man to live 200, 300, 400 years will be normality. This is how and what we are heading for. This is the direction we have to go. If we can, our biggest problem will be how fast we can release this technology worldwide. It's not that when it's going to be, it's now your responsibilities. Go to places, make the gallons of water of whatever you like. Steak, Almond has done. We got tea here. What else we have downstairs? Almond has made anything he could make gallons of. He's made the gallons water of downstairs. Mixed up. You don't need. You can have one drop of each, and that water in that container will stay for centuries. We've seen with the Australian Keshe Foundation guy who showed us how a small amount of gas in a little bottle hanging in the channel, 4/10 of lettuce, how he increases harvest. And we have to be able to understand, to extend this knowledge. In the Keshe Foundation International Teaching, we are not here for you to show us systems alone anymore. You have to come up with solutions. This is what we said with the Universal Council. We don't accept anyone who comes to groan and moan, this is wrong, that is wrong. We only accept solutions. There are people who elected themselves to be the member of the council, and in the first step immediately have failed. They are removed. They will not receive any invitation to become member of the council at no circumstances, because it's the same game as the past. I know more, I am more, and I destroy what I can to confirm my own existence. 2 members of the council which put themselves up in the way have already will be removed, because what we said, the development of the new technology is the promotion of the soul and physicality. I've seen the communications on the internet. It's gone from the point of, again, the same game as present time. So immediately, the 2 members that are from Spain, they are removed. There is no way they can stand, because the structure is to create unity and peace, not I know more and I can do more and anarchy. You know exactly who you are. Please, you'll find out the foundation will not support such action unless you are there to create a condition of peace and activity in a direction of not only environment, but in every other way. So try to extend the knowledge. Try to understand how you can simplify it in easiest way that we can drop a leaflet across a nation. How, in a simple way, no one needs to go hungry. In the West, one of the biggest burden on the government is military, and then is the healthcare. Healthcare, especially for old age with the nations like Japan, is crippling the economy and the country. Food, import of food is breaking the back of the African nations. Stolen subsidized food by the American government into Africa has stopped the African farmers to farm, and now that they have not farmed for years, now they have to pay for what was free. And we see the same in India, where so many farmers are committing suicide. Very simple. You get the seed, which is tampered with or genetically modified, sink it in 2 liters of gallons of water, CO2, all the genetic modification is gone, water it with the same water, you'll find you get more harvest, and the genetic modification, which will not allow you to harvest the next year, gives you a seed that you can harvest perfectly for years to come. You've got to understand how the crisis in India has come about. Tens of thousands of farmers committing suicide because they cannot pay their debt, because organizations who provide the seed have played with the last layer of gene that the seed does not give flower, that it can be used again. So the farmer every year has to borrow to feed himself, to have something, and he cannot see the debts to be paid. The water of the GANs CO2 is your best solution. Add to it the GANs of CH3, and you see the growth. So in so many ways, the structure of the change on the international arena, all of you have. How far is going to be penetrating the society does not need BBC or CNN or Fox or any other television channel. People give it hand to hand. You haven't seen on the television or on the radio, they tell you how and where is the cheapest place to go and buy fuel, because the taxes will not cover, or where you can find something which you can afford, because it does not serve the big guys, does not serve the structure. Now do the same. On the leaflet, a bottle, very few little, feed the nation, feed the country, and would it change the society? This is where we're going to go, and that's how it's going to be done. We need to, as the way we have come, now that we understand the knowledge of saving a life with literally a cost of zero, has to be implemented. We have no choice. If you've been talking, I'm a man, I want to serve humanity, I tell you where to go and serve it. Walk in the back of the supermarket in the West, you'll find perfect oranges being disposed of, perfect apples, perfect meat, perfect everything which you want. Make a GANs of it. Create the water of it. And walk and give, not the water of it, a small mixture of it to every man. And tell him to put in a glass of water and just drink the water. You'll find no one will be looking into the bins around the cities to feed themselves. Because when they don't feel hunger, they don't eat, they don't need to scavenge. They change the psychology of the mentality of life, and you make a man out of a beggar and a street man. You stop a child going hungry, because in the morning does not matter how. At this moment, you have the gas of the water. In a coming time, we'll be placing systems that covers the whole nation. Everybody does not need to eat. If you have food, you want to chew, you're welcome. But you'll find out a lot of people, because they receive a balanced energy from the gas material and from the fields, obesity will become a thing of the past. It's there, they see it, but there is no hunger, so there is no need to. This is where, as I said, in the coming time, in the next few weeks, we bring the pressure to such a level, pressure of knowledge, the easiness of sharing of a knowledge to a level that no one needs to fight. No one needs to worry about where the next food is on the table, that the others can abuse it. No one needs to worry that is my borders defended because they might invade me for this or that. Because everyone will receive the same. We will enhance and deliver this technology in full to Chinese government in coming weeks. We have to. We work with the most strongest peaceful nation on this planet, and this has given us the leverage to be able to deliver the technology in the hand of safe leadership. Those who have the animal behavior, they have to stay to where they are. If the color of the skin for the next president of the United States is important, the man does not deserve to be the president. He has not understood that the white came from the black. Unless you want to be the Hitler, as a Jew killed the Jews to cover your own backside. The future leaders, having such a technology in their hand, they have one target, and that's peace. To create a condition that more and more people can live a peaceful life. That's all we are. That's all we can do, and that's all we deliver. Try to make the technology as simple as possible. We have a beautiful team sitting in Philippines. They have understood the ethos. No one goes lower than these guys to make it as simple as possible that the maximum people can use it. Setting up factories for the West is part of it. Setting up factories is part of it because we have to filter the knowledge in different ways.
Mr. Keshe, I have that picture now of the Arizona manufacturing. Maybe it's appropriate.
Can you go on sharing it? This is the picture of the Arizona Keshe manufacturing, which has gone into operation in the United States. Other factories of the Keshe Foundation accordingly will be released in the coming time. You see, these are all modern, absolute perfection. Keshe Manufacturing, Arizona. We have the same here in Italy. In Italy, we expect to increase the workforce within the next 6 months to 3,000 to 10,000, according to what achieved the banks and the government officials in different channels. The whole structure is simple. We have to make the knowledge reachable by everyone as much as possible. This building in the coming time will release what you at the moment dread to give to your child as vaccination. Once we get the completion, Arizona will be one of the first which produced the material. We submitted to FDA, we submitted to the Pentagon, we submitted to the White House. Let them do the testing. The beauty with this is the testing does not need more than maximum 3 days to result. We don't need to wait for months for the results. The test results with all these systems show themselves within 7 to 14 days. All these heavily cost on testing, you show me why you need 10 million to do a 3-day testing, we'll answer you. We release the data internationally that people can use it to support themselves in submission. I do not agree with making it complicated to damage. We got to make it complicated that a man on the street can apply and supply and deliver the technology. The process is very simple. It's us who has made it complicated because we didn't understand the original. Would you like to take this off, please? Thanks. I don't want to close it. Okay. Fabio, somehow the minute you touch it, the thing moves. You got to do it with the arrow buttons. So please understand. Try to make systems. Try to understand the essence of the knowledge and simplify it, that it can be used. Alex is doing it in Africa very beautifully. Arman is doing it in the United States. He is going to the root of simplicity of doing things. We've seen Ghana. We see the Chinese. We see different cultures coming in with different materials, different ways to deliver. Go back and look. Go back and understand. Go back and see what the culture has brought you. Use your own culture. Use the own materials in your own environment to make the energy, the liquid off, and apply it. You don't need to look into the West to find a solution for malaria. How have they found the solution for malaria through the gas? Very simple. They have used the materials which already been used by Africans for malaria for a long time, but they could not strengthen it. They could not strengthen it that it could affect the condition. Now it seems and it looks that it can be done. All you need now, you make the guns of it. And 3 spoons of water a day has changed the malaria in less than 24 hours. We wait for a report by the doctors. It's not done by private, it's done by a doctor. We'll see the report in coming days from Alex. He's back in Nigeria. He was supposed to go back on the 15th. We'll see how the process will change. You live in India. Look at why we use herbs, why we use roots. Why do we use these roots and herbs for what purpose? Every herb, every root, everything which we see we use has specific gravitational magnetic field energy, can overcome something which is not good for the body of the man. And that's all you need to create. One, from what it is to its powerful state of gas that it can be used. You look for certain conditions in the body. Look why, for example, in India, they use such a herb. All the herbs, majority of the herbs, majority of the roots used in food in India is to kill a kind of parasite in the body from what is consumed. If you look, majority of them are anti-parasites. Now it's become a taste in the food, but that's the purpose for it. Look when you cook them, when you fry them, what kind of oil they produce. Understand the purpose of the oil in the body of the man. Water cannot penetrate. Oil has a finer structure that can penetrate the skin, has a finer structure that can release energy that is matching to the parasite that neutralizes the energy of the parasite. That's what it's used for. Now you create a more stronger one. Learn in the teaching of this morning I was teaching. Learn how to strengthen your gas waters. In the gas waters, you want to strengthen the power, or what you call the strength, the power of the interaction. All you need to do, make yourself, you know, the mixers you have like this, and you whistle it to make a, what you call foam, or to mix a food, or you have the electrical mixers. Put this in a gas water of CO2. Look at the power it will give you. If the power of the CO2 before mixing was 100, you welcome to the new power. Because now you open the plasma. This is no different, if you don't understand it, than your Maghreb units. Your Maghreb unit, the mixing comes from the impulse of the hertz. That's all it does. That's why you need to connect it to a power supply. The bashing, the hit of the frequency as it comes in from your main grid, you have a continuous sinusoidal. You have now a blockage of nanocoated which cannot see the matter. So as the matter hits, it creates like quartz hitting to release energy. And that's how you release the energy of the nano coating back into the grid. Here, I told you, if you understand, you have no problem. There is no difference between that head and this head. Here, you hit the CO2 or a copper oxide to release more energy of the plasma. Here, you do it in the liquid state. That's why when you connect your maggrav units, after a month, you don't need anything. You see 60–80% reduction. Because now the system has picked up in the vibration of the nano layers. It's the vibration of the nano layers which create the release of the energy from the gas material which is attached to them. Simple as that. You do it now with a mixer. And then if you add this mixer, as we were teaching this morning, into your sphere of the core, you create a flight system that it can fly. You create any kind of gravitational magnetic field position for your flight system. On Thursday, I'll go in more detail on this. We push the limit of knowledge to the point that it goes out of hand of governments, in the hand of people, and the people, when they have it, they can share it. If you increase the release of the plasma, you decide what plasma is released. If you create a plasma which is a barrier to microwave, to shielding, you create that shielding. You have to match it. Everything in technology within the next few weeks will be completed. I will stop teaching in a very short time because I have taught the man what the man needs to know. When you achieve the flight, when you achieve understanding of the technology, as far as what we see, I will start teaching to specific groups to rapidly develop conditions. I have achieved what I came here to achieve, and I've laid out the structure, how to be used. Is for you to develop and understand, because it's like being taught in the school. You don't know how much you need, what you have to do, what you have understood, till they let you free in the lab to test what you understood, and then learn from it, or sit you on the exam table and see how much you understood. There is no exam table. Now it's for you to get into universal lab and learn, because when you go into space, there are no reports certified by FDA or Atomic Energy Authorities or IAEA. Where is the radiation? What you have to do? It's your common understanding of the technology which will save your life in space. Very strange. The first persons to become part of the space technology for teaching in October is a Belgium. They challenge us. We want peace. We have nothing to do with what our government does. We want to be part of the space technology. We respond to you correctly. We accept you. You know who you are and how you're putting the applications through. Because this knowledge has to be in the hand of the people who understand the change. This got to be in the hand of people who want to make the change. It's got to be in a point where we collaborate, not with the people who want to make money by killing, but by killing the habit of the man, they bring money on the table of peace. And we'll push with this. We'll go through with this heavily. There is important thing which we receive and we see. How you can produce systems which puts you on a flight path. Please, those of you who start testing for flight, remember, inform the airport authorities near you. The reasons are very clear. Those of you who are setting up and you see the first sign of lift, inform the Keshe Foundation that we can support you. But at the same time, understand you're all amateurs, and if you lose your flight system, would it land near the airport or would it hit a plane in the sky? So understand the way we work. You've got to work the same way. In creating the flight system, understand how your flight system will become part of your food, your material, your energy, and everything else. Lower strength, you create matter states, and how different matter states gives you from water to gold to shielding to motion. It's all coming from the same system. So understand the totality. In a future structure, which we show you for the spaceship, your spaceship does not need to be smooth. You can use the structure of the spaceship itself to, if you look, the beating of the space plasma. You can use the rotation of the plasma to do the same thing as your mixer does. Translate the knowledge right across. Translate the knowledge in its totality, not isolated cases, isolated positions. Most of you will do because this is the level you need it. It's understandable and is respected. But those of you who are there to push the limits of the knowledge, understand the knowledge, and then add to it. And try to explain it. Making the coil. At this moment of time, those who understood the GANs and the plasma, liquid plasma, vapor plasma, field plasma, you will find out none of you need any coils. None of you need the interactions. None of you need to be part of matter state. Very interesting proposition. If you can, try it. This is the continuation of the expansion on the knowledge you already have. You remember the orange and the tubes which transferred the water, the taste of the orange? Get yourself a cube made. Get yourself small bowls, small marble bowls, crystal bowls, empty inside, glass bowls, empty inside. And in these bowls, put on the wall of this cube CO2, orange, tea, coffee, steak, beef, anything you can imagine. Transfer the fields within this box by even inhaling it, by even putting water in it. Drink the water. You have a cup for life. You receive the full spectrum of what you need, Don't forget, one of them has to have the amino acid, which links to the level which your body needs. If you don't add the amino acid, you do not create the boundary. So start making as many as cancers as you like. And the principle of working of the body is the body takes what it needs from the mixture. This box becomes like your stomach. You put everything in it. The body only takes what it needs from it. Now the energy is already digested in the form that what you need you can inhale or you can breathe. Break the whole structure up to as many as products as you like and put the chocolates as much as the others. You feel like a chocolate when you drink, you only pick up the chocolate strength because this was your emotional strength, but it's already in it. You want to have a banana, the texture is there, the energy is there, you add the emotion to it, you already have received it, it means what you need. How simple this can be. Everything from anything which has been used and you want to use, now you have made, just make yourself a cup. This is a liquid plasma transfer. If you can do it and use it, put it inside these liquids in a mixing reactor the way we showed, and the expansion of the fields will do totally different thing. The expansion of the fields, if you can bring this into the coil system here and use it, will don't see any dimensions. Your system in it can feed a whole village and a city. You put this in a spacecraft, a man receives everything he needs and never looks for hunger and never looks for any conflict because you satisfy the emotion. Put a zinc oxide in it, put a calcium oxide in it. Now you can spread this across the nations. You can spread this everywhere. We've seen people, as we saw last week, putting units across the cities because we see the changes, we see the behavior, we see what we expected to be delivered, now we can deliver.
Hello?
Yes. Are there any questions? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I think we lost the last part of your sentence there just before you asked about questions, but maybe you just didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. I just sat down. I'm an old man. Huh?
Okay.
Men at my age used to retire. Instead of having on two cylinders, the other two has burned out. It's a long, long time ago. So, um, if there are any questions, we got to understand teaching, concentrating, it takes a lot of energy, especially at this level. Are there any other questions?
You see, there are some questions. Well, someone asked in the questions and answers, can you advise how many MagRav power units are needed to install in a school, campus, or large hospital, or an office building?
We are testing in the state of Abu Dhabi. In a 20,000 square meter school, we reckon 9 units. It depends how it's wired up. is needed. In building blocks, it depends where it's positioned. In the hospitals, the same. We are not adding new power system. We are adding, as I explained, the principle of the release of the energy. We are adding to the power supply a hybrid system which will look after some of the energy. And the energy, you got to realize, this is something maybe a lot of you know it, but some of you have not understood or looked at it this way. Let me explain to you how it works. You have a government who has committed themselves to, let's say, 200 megawatts, let's say. This 200 megawatts is given for, let's say, whatever, 1,000 people, whatever, the number of thousands. The country cannot afford anymore. That's what it is. And they cannot go any further because the consumption is very set. Now that you add a hybrid system, and now you only use, because now you added a new supply at no cost, this hybrid system, if it takes 50% off from the hybrid section, now you have 20,000 watt. When you go to 95%, now you understand the game changes drastically. You can see the change. Here was twice. When you go at 95%, it becomes 20 times. Because the others which you give the same system to now uses only 5%. Here, originally you used the whole 100% in that line. This is where the difference. Here you helped 1,000. Here you help 2,000, for example. Here you're helping 20,000. It's the same structure. Here you have to replace the power stations on a regular basis or add, or the economy stagnates because that's your level. Here the economy does not need to stagnate. This is one of the reasons we go to China. We know in China, in the structure, we can reduce the power consumption by at least 90% using the plasma as alternative supply. It means a lot of 7 dams does not need to be built. A lot of coal power stations, which are so many coming into operation to meet the demand of the nation, does not need to be done. This is the scale of the change. You cannot see the yellow. Can you see the yellow from distance, Fabio? This is the difference. I shouldn't be using the yellow. Try to do it for you in black and white that you can see. What we put was 1,000 here, 2,000 here, and 20,000 here. This is with 50% reduction using the CO2. This is with 95% reduction using your maglev system. The scale of economy, especially for the third world nation, is colossal. It brings a nation out of poverty into full prosperity. The biggest problem, and it has become the biggest problem for Keshe Foundation, is the Western nations. EU does not want to see this technology. Why? United States government does not want to see this technology. Why? Because with a stroke of a pen, they have spent how many billions in Germany on nuclear power stations? These debts has to be paid. They would not want these systems because without these systems, nobody uses so much power. The power stations are there idle, cannot be committed. That's why you see such a huge opposition. The people who oppose us in Belgium and in Germany are the people who are paid to do. Because this is the scale of change. These are servants to terrorists of economy, as I call it. Because the German government has paid billions to build these nuclear power stations, and they're useless now. But they still have to service the debts. The nation still has to pay. If we don't become the worst guys, how can they serve it? So they pay these people who go as trolls on the internet. This is why the Western world has a problem with Keshe Foundation and its technology. We are not wrong. We are so right that the wrongs of the past now is coming home and it cannot be shown is there. And now that we have come to agreement with the banks, and very soon, in the next 12 months, the other banks around the world will follow this. Once we start putting the units out at 10 euro per month, the others will follow, because there is no option. How come the Germans pay 10% or 80%? We only have to pay 10% in Italy. How come an Italian family with 10 euro gets every energy free? Because don't forget, once they install it, the first month is 50%. In 18 months, in 20 months, it's 5% of the bill. They used to pay 200, now they only pay 10. Do you think the Germans are going to sit down and see the Italians paying 10 euro per month for all the electricity they use? No way. No way. The governments have to oppose this technology because we have changed the course in a very simple way. And then they pay people like Red Circle heavy money, €500,000 house, to kill us. Because they realize long before you do what's on the table. Now you know who's the terrorist and who's wrong, and everything is wrong with the Keshe Foundation, and we are this and that. $500,000 house was good enough to kill a scientist because it saves billions for those who want to live and abuse whatever they use. The scale of change is huge. You look at your health section, the touch is amazing. We're sitting on the international teaching. Look at the country with old people. Most of them at least visit 2-3 times a year to a hospital or a doctor for different illnesses. Now they're not ill anymore. They can be given a water which takes the cycle of life out of pain. We all die. It's a natural process. But you don't need to have these extensive health systems. No cancer. Reduction in all kinds of diseases. The money saved runs into billions for the government. National health system will change drastically. Old people do not need to sit in old houses just doing nothing, waiting for the death to come. They can be active, they can enjoy the grandchildren and life without disease. But who's going to pay $400,000 in America for an X-ray doctor in Los Angeles in the hospital? Of course, the doctor says everything is wrong with us because nobody's going to pay $400,000 because there are not that many people to use the system anymore. Look at the wage list of the health people in the United States. When you have less people sick, you have less people needed. But then the problem comes, what are we going to do? What's going to be all the people with all the highly educated to do? My friend, the answer is one way. Space. Because we learn we can have everything we need, we want. What do we do when we have a lot of money? We go on holidays. We go to places we haven't seen because we have everything we need at home. We've seen all the museums of our city. We've seen all the waterfalls. We have seen all the beautiful buildings and the mountains. Let's go to Japan. Never seen Japan. Let's go to China, how the world is. Now the world changes. Let's go to such and such a planet. They say it's a beautiful waterfalls in there. Most of this is not something new, I tell you. I've written this before. Keshe Foundation technology will become biggest in tourism industries. That's where We are here to cash in for the humanity to his curiosity to bring peace on this planet. We give you, nowadays, if you do something good, they give you a week prize. You've been a good. We give you a week down deep space. Now see how my changes to do become all good words, but in really doing it, not talking about it. Ask yourself a simple question. Did we have nuclear physicists, idiots like me and the others who created a lot of bombs 100 years ago? No. Did we have doctors and surgeons, heart surgeons 100 years ago? No. These are the things, titles we created. Now in the space, we are all doctors and nuclear physicists, so we all go to places where we want to be. The future is bright for humanity. It's just the man has to make that step of jumping, forgetting about the past and building a future. This is where we're going to sit, and this is how it's going to be. Changing the space. Changing the space to a place for peaceful activities of man and not for a war zone to prove who is bigger and stronger. This is the guarantee we have from the governments we work with. It will be no time. This technology, now that it's gone into commercialization, and now a number of governments have started direct negotiation with the foundation in different levels, will go like a mushroom. When the government does not need to collect taxes to have an army, there is no pressure on the citizens. When the government has not need for so much health care, there is no pressure on the citizens. When it becomes only to be there if it's needed and creating more leisure time and more comfort for humanity, you'll find out even your politicians change. We are very open. We said we're coming into the operation for American election. Very soon we announce a member to stand for the American presidential on the back of only peace. Peace dividend for a president. American nation is fed up and tired of war and killing. Don't forget, when they kill, they carry the burden of the soul. The whole nation is drowning under the crimes they've done to humanity on the banner of war for peace. Because a few are very human. We are negotiating and we put American presidential candidates on the platform of peace. And we are in May. We're getting prepared for June, July, as we said. We are speaking to the people, 3 or 4 candidates who are and can be on the ballot paper or carry on the banner of peace using Keshe Foundations across the United States to influence, not to speak about the war, but unity of the nation on the ground of peace. I wonder how many Americans will sign a paper that they want to spend more money on arms and more debts. We don't go to fight. We give an option of peace or technology. That's why we said, those who trolls said, this is the Keshe Foundation, jam it and the rest. Please do. We need you to get the publicity to say we are a peace organization. This is the system. Go home and have peace. Our security wrote to me, oh, these trolls now, they're asking people to jam the telephone calls and go to demonstrate in front of the Keshe Foundation manufacturing. I said, publicity is never bad. We need it. Please send them as many as you can, because then it makes it easier for us to enter the election, because they see they're here, they're producing it, it's not a top. Where there is a buck, there is money. Where there is a hate and war, there is a wish for a peace. There is a desire for peace. There is activity and movement for peace. The more the present candidates, doesn't matter who talks about the race and war and blah, blah, the more we talk about and deliver technology for peace. We don't need to spend billions on campaign. We receive millions from people who buy the units to vote for the Keshe Foundation candidates which we put up. We enter on the path of peace in the policy and into elections of United States in June, July. I told you months ago, I'm making a lot of preparation for it. We're talking to a number of people who can be candidates, but they have to sign the World Peace Treaty, and on the back of it, we give them the freedom of all the facilities, all the factories which can deliver and can teach the nation to be peaceful. Would we win the election? We don't know. But we 100% win the next election. We win it on the platform of peace, change of war to peace, not just for our friends and family in America, but for our friends and family across the world. This is how strong we are becoming and so confidently we can speak about it. We speak with the world leaders, direct and indirect, and the people who will come to become the world leaders in the coming years. I spend a lot of time negotiating with these people. The Keshe Foundation team knows they regularly sit, some of them in different conversation with different structure. We are choosing world leaders. We are choosing world leaders who sit on the platform of peace. We are not politicians. We are scientists who, with the knowledge, with the technology, will deliver peace through transfer of technology. Why should I fight when I have everything? You want a soldier, you go and find yourself. This is how we change. US American presidential election is on our list, and we were working on it. And those who Keshe Foundation work close with us, they have sat on the table of negotiation with us, with the candidates. We are not talkers, we are doers. We have the technology, we deliver, we use our technology to deliver peace. Understand the process. Understand the only chance we have to deliver peace is to deliver technology that people can feel it. They can see the change. They can move away from the cancer. They can move away from hunger. They can move away from war. They can move away from cold in the winter and the warmth of the summer because they couldn't afford the electricity bill. Now all can. They all can. Everybody can. Italy, we are in. From next week, 10 euro gives you 50% on your bill. And according to Mr. Giovanni, who's done a detailed use of a system, 64% on the grid line, and total reduction in the bill when you have a solar system is 84%. Correct? Roughly. Correct? So if you were paying 200 euro last month for the bill, this month you're paying, am I correct? 32 euro. Mr. Giovanni is 168 euro better off. Roughly. And next month, he most probably will be 180 euro better off. Because don't forget, June, July, August is the heated time. This was from the grid. The 20% was from the solar panel. It was a rainy time. Now, next month, he actually goes back earning more money from the grid. They have to pay him back. Don't forget our commission, please. And then, what you have to understand, the change in the scale of economy. 1% puts so much in the pocket of the economy. Why do the tax people, why do the government say, when we come to power, we reduce the taxes by 1%? You are feeding in the nation 9 million units in the next 2 years, 3 years here through the Keshe Foundation. Most probably our workforce will go to 40,000 in this country alone in the coming year, because everybody wants it. And then what you got to understand is not only we have created new jobs to produce, now there is €170 per family to be putting back into the economy. The boost in the economy is huge. That's €170 per month multiplied by 12. Let's say 2,000 is not. You put 2,000 in 20 million families back into Italian economy. Is colossal. You're talking about around 40 billion. And don't forget, on top of this, the Italian nation does not need to import oil. That's a saving on top. We are, and that's how we managed to show to the banking system that this thing works. And now they're prepared to support. We needed time, 6 months. We stored all the rubbish which came. Now we have data. You saw Colonel Hankey in Arizona. He was here. He wouldn't believe any of it. They had to install a system in his house. And he's seen the reduction. Says, it works in my house, it works for the government. Would we put Colonel Hankey as a presidential candidate for United States? Why not? He's a man of war. He can show the war is over. Now it's time to use a new technology for peace. He's an old man, but he carries a lot of it. The only people who don't like this is the oil industries, which they already accepted is kaput, it's gone. It's over. It's done with. The oil nations have already accepted the $110 to $25. Now you see how the foundation is hitting the abusers. And the abusers are not going to sit down losing all the luxuries they made out of abuse. They'll fight. But this is a fight of a dead man, the last kicks. When we explain the situation to the governments, they see right away through it. The health, the food, the environment, the space technology. It is unlimited. It's a change of the course for humanity. Anybody who talks about the conflict, talks about the war, talks about breaking up and I'm a leader and I do this and that, has no seat in the Keshe Foundation Council. So now let's see who and how we can save humanity, how we can change the course. Very simple. Find yourself 10, 20 pieces of wood, burn it, have ash, create your CO2, what do you call it, NaOH, or burn the material, which you can do to create a coil, but when you have the ash, you can create your caustic with it, you can produce your gases of materials with it, you can do the gas waters, and with it, you can feed yourself, your nation, and walking out of poverty. Very simple. I wish man would have understood this thousands of years ago. We got to understand. Very interesting. If we create the conditions of peace with the systems flying over a city or a country or a nation or whatever you call it, that we can feed them, that we need them to become peaceful, why don't we throw the gases of zinc oxide and CO2 and CH3 in the water of the oceans of the planet? The animals will benefit by the same. That absorbs from the water the energy they need without eating each other. You'll find the fishes floating everywhere, but not eating each other. Would we change the hand of man? I've done in my swimming pool, where we started from the beginning, I have created the first condition. Jackie has done in his. In Africa, we see the same. Chinese are battling it the same way now through the guns and the plasma technology. How many more children have to be born on the sideways or pavements of different cities of India and Africa, not knowing where the food is and would they live? Walk to them, give them a glass of mixture of things and say, just put it in the water every day. And the man is not hungry, not be abused. It's the way we have to go. We have no choice. As a race, we have been given a new opportunity to open the door of peace for the totality of the human race and the creatures of this planet. From now on, the only people who can fail the humanity is us and no one else. We can't blame nobody because the knowledge is free. We have opened all the knowledge and the world scientists come and deliver the knowledge freely to you. It's never been done before. So, Keshe Foundation members, or people who listen to these teachings, reach out and put 2 hours a day, 1 hour a day to make units and to go to the streets to the families who have no food and just deliver to their door. I tried to negotiate with the World Bank through one of our directors who used to be director of the World Bank to make the 10-euro facility all below with different conditions with the governments around the world. One of my closest friends, highly respected, is the World Bank ex-director. He's retired, but still very influential. We have the doors to a lot of places. Once we settle the position with the Italian bank from next week, we can buy 10 euro. Why not in Germany? Why not in Britain? Why not in France? Why not in Belgium? Do we need to have the 3 reactors running, which can be a danger to the life? We can give to the pleasure to the nation of Belgium to shut the reactors down and use the technology with a little bit of power from one of the southern stations. So this is how we have to go. This is the choice we have made, and we change the course ourselves. And now it's time to move. Flight system will be seen. You've seen the gas units are. We see the delivery of technology in a rapid way. As I said to you, by the time the Americans are going to fight us and send people to the Arizona, the Africans have already started the research. They're working on it. They're making soap with it. They're saving the energy systems. And as I said, Africa will lead this technology and we see it. Thank you very much for today. We'll see you on Thursday morning. Hopefully, we start teaching on Thursdays. We only teach on Tuesdays. We try to bring in International Arena and teaching. Tomorrow afternoon, we have the doctors at KesheFoundation.org we teach you, please bring your patients and bring us to teach us that we can teach you back the knowledge of life. Thank you very much, Rick. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Thank you very much. Okay, that'll be the end of the 15th International Knowledge Seekers Workshop. Thank you, everybody, for attending. There's a couple of questions that weren't quite answered in this workshop. We can take them over to the Thursday workshop, I believe. Okay, and we'll end it for today. Let me end the live stream.